سلام سلام على مولد لكم كورات حواتنا تجارو خمون فتوت تجارو نايلم معنتي علامانا خم تتفلتوا نحامس ديسمبر 9 على مولد سلام واصل في نزاجاجو سلازلنا كل حواتنا تجارو حيزلكم زلخو كاب نيويورك معبل تفلتوا يهم بكل سرعة تسرح زلا سلام واصل في داني دما خاب دالس كم تفلتوا تقرينيا بدن بيم زارو جين علامانا لما معنتي actually عربية وني سيد خليها so انتهي علامة لما عنتي بإنجليزي أنا هنقوله مجمرتها after ما جرشة ياو بدس لنا بمحارنيا بعربية بتقرينيا غيرنا هنعصوينا مالتيو إذا انتهي زرقنا نحنا تجارو سنسرعات مخانا خبر زلنا سب مخانا قامقاتات كم دليتنا نخيل خلت مويا زلنا مخانا كاو خان تسألا إمسيو حواتنا خدفر كله آياتنا خدفر تلو مريت تجراي خدفر تلو خان كميجرنا مرسخمنون فلتينا إذا سلز خونا يوون سألاتتات حشكرات مشرفت ناي بعدقنا بارتي بلسقنا بهذا اللو كاب حقدف كاب سوماليا كاب إيران كاب تركي كاب تشاينا كاب يونايتد عرب إمارات إيران أخاخيو أف ساوث السودان خيدي لمين نيرو أف كينيا خيدي لمين نيرو زياد كل غيره ما جرشوا أي تسكع علم حيزم تخون حيزي تركي بتلي مس أمارات كوينا بزح أصوارات تشكم ولا أيا تا إثيوبيا تبهاد زنبرت هاجر دما أفريقيا واتري فوليو سلازيو بتقرينيا زارو لكم زار لخوت introduction يو مخفوتي تي برنامجنا جن قلت في لنا في إنجليزي وعم أخمل لسيه معبل بدم بجرا بعربي ون أناوس تجارنا يا مجرد شمالتيو تافلاير تري وازن لكم نحامس على مول سلام أصل في نوصلوا بخاتمات أفتخاتمات موزح زلون دانيون خجال سألنا أيو كانت كوانا وصع زخونون انتاي كوميونيتات يحوسنا خمس زخونون كان زاروينا ياو so Mabel, I have a clip if you allow me. I'm going to play a few clearly I feel comfortable enough to kind of joke and say all these things because I love you guys. We've been like, it's been amazing, just like knowing all the Tagaru, like, you know, in the diaspora, even though it's like through a difficult time that we got to know each other. It's a blessing. It's a blessing for us. We became a family. So I'm going to jump in with you first, Mabel. Like, what, tell me, like, you know, we're going to talk about SJT, about all these protests planning the young Tagaru, but you know, for a fact, many of us, probably about 98, 99% of us Tagaro in the diaspora will never know each other had it not been for this crisis in Tigray. So let's start off with some positivity. I know everybody's kind of a little bit depressed. Why TDF's pulling up? Why, you know, there's like logistical, there's like a plan in place that we must trust in our TDF. I know we got trust in God, but we also must trust in our TDF. So I want you to start off.
Well, how do you start with that? I mean, I have full faith and trust in my people and our people. They've never led us astray. There has been not one day in history where Tagaru have not helped Tagaru. And so I full faith that we're going to make it through. And I am so grateful to have met you guys, the twins that everybody calls, the brothers.
I didn't see that coming.
But no, everybody, we have been able to build a community that we did not have before in each one of our areas, in different parts of the United States, but throughout the world. Tagaru, we're a minority in Ethiopia, but we're also a minority in the world. There's not a lot of us. And so a lot of us didn't have each other before this. And the fact that we've been able to find each other and really build families and community and fellowship has been a really beautiful experience. And so I'm really grateful for it.
Thank you. And we are too. And thank you. So, Danny, you've been part of the movement, obviously, like Mabel, and there was a confusion in our Friday discussion. Somebody mentioned like Mabel, Mickey and Danny, and then we're like, which Mabel,
Me, me,
There you
mom.
go. Of course.
Yeah.
So Danny, obviously, it's I don't know how and I don't know why, but genuinely, especially in our early protests in Los Angeles, in New York, in DC, literally we were having a hard time. They would look even at a certain places we want to eat, they couldn't figure out who to give the card back.
Mike, Danny, Mike.
I mean, yeah, so we would say like, oh, that's Mike, that's Danny. No, that's the way. And so we had one lady actually, literally, she had Danny's ID and a credit card, and literally we were able to just confuse her.
That mean I paid for it.
Yes, you did. Yes, absolutely, you did. Yes, no doubt. No doubt. And you spent a lot of money, a lot of, especially the early protests, I mean, it was just like, it was, so anyway, but it's a blessing. We got to know each other and we traveled together. We cried together. We fought together. We did a lot of, things for Tigray together. Together, what I mean is not just Danny and Mike, but, like Mabed, and then the other Mabed, I call him Jaman from Los Angeles, California. I had him here on the show last night. And, we have like tremendously amazing young Tagaro. I was hoping they will join us tonight, but I think Abby, who is doing this flyer, doing a lot of other things. She's got some finals going on and she's working. And I think Ripka might be still at work right now from Seattle. But we have a lot of, Tagaro, young Tagaro. And of course, some are like, not just working, but also got family, got kids, got so many other things, right? So when this is going on, and Danny, I think you and I know very well deeply. So I think some of the things that was hurtful that you discussed with me was, some of your Amhara friends, they just literally, when the war was declared on Tigray, they just disappear, or like they just acted like somehow that the genocide was just okay, or it wasn't actually happening. So I know you were inspired a lot of this, just hurtful feelings that when humanity and when our people are attacked, you're the least person that I know would actually take up arms and hurt anybody, but you fight for your people peacefully. I mean, what is that drive for you to do what you do and to reach out to the Eritrean community, to the Oromo community? And I mentioned Friday's discussion as a laughter, but the reality is that you literally spend hours and hours and hours on the phone, reaching out. You're not always, convincing everybody, but you're convincing so many people. And I start off saying I'm proud of both of you guys, by the way. I really, the work that you do. And there's a clip that I'm going to show about Mabel after Danny, kind of gives us like a little bit of his version.
Well, first of all, brother Mike, twin Mike, what's up? Mabel, how are you guys doing? And
A real Mabel.
Yeah, Tagaru and friends of Tagaru. I want to say what's up to your audience, our audience, obviously. So yeah, no, I mean, it's been almost a year now. We've been fighting this fight. Mike and I actually literally share rooms, and we haven't been to, gosh, what city have we missed in this protest? And literally, we share rooms, and sometimes even a bed. So that's my brother right there. And with that said, what you mentioned about how I felt about friends and that have checked out on us, on people of Tigray. I mean, this I used to think I was one of these people. We lived together for this long, and all of a sudden now, we don't exist. They want us, to be eliminated from this. I mean, I'm not talking about the people, and I'm not talking about the specific friends, but Abiy Ahmed. And then when they support him, what does that tell you? When they support a genocider, then what does that tell you? And I'm just so disappointed, Mike. And you know that, with friends, with some that I call family. It's just really hurtful. But I'm happy to be here, and happy to talk about the protest that we're going to do in 2 days. Tomorrow happens to be day 400 of this since this genocide started. Day 400, believe it or not. So I'm ready to talk about that. Thanks.
So coming up in some area, actually in Tigray, it is already day 400 because it's already morning. They're waking up into exactly day 400 of the attack by Abiy Ahmed, by Isaias Afwerki, by the Amhara militia, Amhara Fana. This protest was not really planned ahead of time. We just, SJT talked about it last week. They reached out to us and we say, yep, why not? Let's do it. Let's do it because the drone attack in Mekelle and the civilians that are dying as a result of this bombing from the various drones used in Tigray, the continuous humanitarian blockage to Tigray, and the crisis in Addis Ababa and part of Ethiopia, where they're doing massive arrest of civilians, and then they're bringing them onto national television, on Ethiopian television, calling them captured soldiers when they just rounded them up from their homes. In fact, some of those people who they show over the weekend on Ethiopian television and various platforms were actually people that I personally know very well. Mm-hmm. Meaning, when I say I know them personally very well, I'm talking like my own blood family. Mm-hmm. Rounded up, and most of them have lived over 20 years in Addis Ababa, and some of them actually pretty much you can consider them, they were literally like born there. I mean, they're Amharic is they're fluent. I've got, a close family member, all of his, adult children were born in Addis Ababa. He migrated to Addis way before even EPRDF took over Ethiopia while Mengistu was still in power. And, when we got people in their 80s, literally rounded up based on ethnicity, many priests are rounded up. So our protest, led by SJT, Security and Justice for Tigrayans, is focused on the injustice, what's happening in Tigray and for Tigrayans throughout Ethiopia. So Mabed, you were on France 24 recently. And of course, that's one of the many, many things that you do. How do you juggle all this with life? And I don't want to like get into personal life, obviously, but with family, with everything else, without me getting deep, like how do you manage to get through all this?
I'm losing my mind.
Things that you do. How do you juggle all this with life? And I don't want to like get into personal. I think Dennis got on his cell phone, maybe. There you go.
I'm losing my mind. So I don't know. I don't have any tips. Losing my mind so much so that the days I'm counting is day 400. I don't know if it's Tuesday or Wednesday. I just know it's day 400. I don't know if it's Friday. I know it's going to be 401. Like my mind is still stuck from November 4th, 2020. So I'm doing my best every single day. And I think that's how our community is operating. We're all doing our best every single day. Doing my best to be present and to take care of my kids and do everything I possibly can for Tigray. But I don't have any tips.
Well, you do, because you have a balance of what you're doing, the energy, the courage. It's nothing is easy. We know that. Yeah. But the fact that you continue to fight.
I think that's because I'm Tigray, and so I don't have I'm determined and I'm stubborn and I have to free my people as much as I have to help with whatever way I can, and it's really important to me, and I'm very passionate about it. And so I do have like a calendar. I organize everything that I can, but I'm late sometimes. And sometimes, the kids don't go to school at exactly 8:30, but that's okay. They get there at 8:35. So I do my best to organize everything as much as I can, but Tigray is always the forefront of my mind. And so I'm doing everything that, that I possibly can and how I can, but it's through God.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you said at the beginning to grow with it, because God would never give up.
Yeah, Mike, that's why it hurts when you mentioned earlier, when you saw your family member in that lineup, rounded up from Addis or whatever place in Ethiopia. Believe it or not, I have family members in that forced protest, so-called protest. Women of Tigray pulled in some stadium or whatever, and I had family members. And what hurts is I was looking at a live video of course, by enemy media, but one of the comments that I read there says, "No, we should hit these people with drones." And I have family members sitting there, but the whole Tagalog women that were there, or women and man, they're all my family, regardless. And it was just so hurtful when you said that. It just reminded me of that. So sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm glad you said that, because we are affected by this every single day. It affects every single part of our lives. And that's why I'm so passionate and determined, is because it affects every single thing that I do. It affects my children. It affects me. It affects the way I eat. Every part of my life is affected by this genocide. And I think it's really important to remember that, like, we have families in Addis, we have families in Tigray, we have families in Sudan, we have families here, and all of us are affected. Like, every bit of it is affected. So we're trying to live a normal life. We're trying to go to work. We're trying to get our kids to school. We're trying to put gas in the car. But when we're doing those things, we're still thinking about Tigray. So,
Yeah,
you're right, Danny.
And it's important for us to continue this fight. So, Danny, like the upcoming protest, 2 days from now, we expect to see massive Tigrayans and those who stand with us to advocate for our people who are, I think, yesterday, I believe, 5 countries, including the United States, the UK, Australia, denounced the dictator in Ethiopia, rounding up people based on ethnicity. And so that is part of, it's like the timing could not be any better for these protests than what we're seeing, actually, the world community coming together saying, look, this is really what you're doing, no matter how you spin it and how much you want to lie, how much propaganda you want to bring in, how much you want to say America is fighting in Tigray with TDF. What you're doing is you talk about Ethiopianism, unity. You talk about outside not getting involved in Ethiopia, say no more, Africa unite. If they want Africa unite, if they want no more outside help and outside involvement, why are they involving like a lot of the Arab countries, including China? That's not an Arab country. Iran, that's not an Arab country. But like places, countries like Emirates. I don't want to like just throw in a name, but I hear like Saudi Arabia also is helping financially. But I know Saudi Arabia has been working with Abiy Ahmed, deporting many of young Tigrayans from Saudi Arabia that are being like seeking for refuge, and they've been just violating international law for refugees, and nobody is questioning them because why? The U.S. has like financial interest with Saudi Arabia because of oil. United Arab Emirates, you just heard, they signed like a deal with France, $19 billion of military equipment, more weapons to kill Africans, more weapons to kill people in poor countries that can't afford to eat. But yet countries like France is selling billions and billions of dollars worth of military hardware, military weapons that will be given, some of it, to African dictators like Abiy Ahmed and Isaias Afwerki to kill their own citizens within their country and complain other countries should not get involved while they are inviting these countries to come to Ethiopia and use weapons on civilians.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Listen, I am so proud of my Tagaru family here in the States and all over. SJT called this protest, and then we decided to focus on 3 main things. Number one, the drone attacks, and these drones are flowing in from to fascist Abbey by China, UAE, as you mentioned, uh, Turkey, obviously, Iran, and just name it. So Tigray is fighting with so many countries. It's not just Ethiopia and then Isaias and then also the Amhara militia, but just name it. So yeah, we're gonna focus on those 3 things: the drone attacks, humanitarian aid to Tigray, or humanitarian access. And then in number 3, we're going to focus on the mass arrest and concentration camps in Ethiopia for the Tagaru people. So thankfully, the Oromo community has said yes to us to come in collaboration to go in this protest with us, as well as the oppressed communities, for example, as the Command, and then also Ago communities, and then also Team Freedom, our friend, is going to mobilize the Higdef against Higdef people to come out, the Eritreans to come out with us. So I'm really grateful. We're grateful. So we're going to focus on those things. We have so many cities that have signed up for this, including my city. I'm proud to say Dallas, over 20 cities. And then worldwide. I mean, this is London has confirmed to go out with us. Canada, I believe Toronto, and then Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds, just name it, Newcastle. So many cities. Israel. We're all going out on December 9th, or some might go on a different date, but most cities are going out, standing in one voice to let the world know fascist Abiy Ahmed is using drones to kill civilian Tagaru, and this needs to stop. We're saying open a humanitarian access to Tigray. Stop this genocide. That's what we're going to be saying. Stop this mass arrest. And then we're going to stand with our Oromo brothers and sisters, as well as the other oppressed communities.
Thank you, Danny. So Mabel here is the uncomfortable one. I watched it when you were going back and forth on that bench. We're proud of you. I would say that I'm glad that you are ours and you are one of us. And the fight that you have done with the Tagaru diaspora, this will be lifetime memory. We will forever be grateful for all the young Tagaru like you. You're a mom, being a fighter for Tigray. You know, the battlefield in Tigray, before and now, it's successful because we have amazing women. You know, that young lady who actually went straight to the tanker and threw a grenade and blew out that tank. And for 20 minutes, she had no idea she actually lost her arm. And now she commands a unit in the battlefield with just one arm. And I believe she's like 21 or 22. And just, the update that I've gotten today is that don't be fooled with Tagaro. Just because we're consolidating and doing what we need to do, and they're just saying all over, giving propaganda that they're winning, there has not been a city that the Berligana party have defeated TDF by fighting them, because they have not. So the reality on the ground says otherwise than what they're saying. So I want us to listen to this. I'm sorry I have to play it, but hey, it's part of the fight that you did, and there's a reason behind it why I want us to bring it in here. So if I make you a little shy or embarrassed, I'm sorry, but it's a part of the fight. You fight it for Tigray, and it's important for our audience, for Cyber Power of Tigray. This is our platform. This is not just me, you, Danny, but all of us Tagaro. This is our platform to bring, to stand, to fight for our people, to bring awareness to our people, but with facts.
Tigray region fled conflict between the territory and Ethiopian government.
This is my baby sister being born here. That's me. That's my grandfather. That's my father there. This is my cousin. And these are other people. This is in the refugee camp.
For more than a year, Tigrayan rebels have been fighting with forces of Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Mabel's father is back in Tigray, but she hasn't spoken to him since June
Nice necklace.
28, when communications in and out of the region were cut off. She doesn't know if he's alive and says the war amounts to genocide.
I miss my dad a lot. And I miss him a lot. So I really feel that Abi's goal at this moment is to erase us, to shut us up, to make us go away. He's a murderer, and he is killing an entire ethnicity. And so I think back to my father. I can't stop. I have to continue talking about Tigray because my children deserve to know where they're from.
Ethiopia is a major strategic ally of the US, but Washington says it's ready to impose sanctions if fighting there continues.
The Ethiopians call the TPLF terrorists, and the TPLF is saying, stop the genocide against Tigray. The truth is that they're suffering on all sides. They seem to be still not ready to seriously discuss.
How are they suffering on both sides?
I hated that part.
I mean, you have nothing to do with it, but they interjected it in where they're talking about you. They bring this white dude, and he's talking about they're suffering on both sides.
Yeah. So I don't know how the Ethiopian government is suffering other than in losses, but yeah, I don't know any other way.
Danny, how are they suffering? How is it both sides?
Really, there's no both sides. You can't say genocide, but you don't.
I mean, isn't that like the Donald Trump playbook in Charlottesville when the KKK were like marching, saying like Jewish can't? What was it?
It was the Proud Boys. The Proud
The
Boys.
Proud Boys. I call them the KKK because they're the same to me.
They're the same. Yeah.
I mean,
So as our friend Brother Jeff says, genocide is never a good thing. Rape is never a good thing. And over 22,000 women raped in Tigray by military, by fascist Abiy Ahmed military, by Amhara militia military, by Isaiah's military. So how is that ever going to compare to what Tigray is going through, to Abiy's government suffering? No, there's just false equivalency is what I see here.
I agree. There's no two sides to genocide.
No.
I'm just posting some of the people that we all know. You guys know, they know us. That we know them. So I want you to see the support and the love they just like throwing out there. It might be a little bit distraction, but I can't help it to not show you guys on the screen because these are young Tagaru. I mean, all ages of Tagaru that fight with us. When I say young Tagaru, anyone like under 100, they're fighting for Tigray. Because if you can arrest them based on ethnicity and you are a coward, then I'm going to say, you know what? We're going to come after you. But let me just say this. For those reasonable and decent Eritreans, it is time for you to wake up. It is time for you to unite your people, to unite with us, and to get rid of Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia and Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea. Without that, it's not even a negotiable. So with all due respect, when I see this former U.S. ambassador or even the current officials within the United States government, they're talking like, they withdrew from classifying the Tigray genocide for the time being because they say that may halted the peace negotiating. Who's negotiating right now for peace? Abiy Ahmed is not. He's not even acting like a leader and working in his office in Addis Ababa. Well, I guess he's scared, but he's like wearing camouflage, taking these photoshops and saying he's directing the fight and he's winning. And it does that really it makes me laugh. But what bothers me is the civilians in Addis Ababa being massively forced to come out and protest against their will. The mass people who are actually being forced to speak against their will, saying they're captured soldiers when they were civilians taken from their homes. Like I referenced the people that I know, for example, but many people have children behind. Some of those women actually, they went to deliver food to their husbands or brother or dad in Addis Ababa, because in Ethiopia, when they arrest you, they don't feed you. So they don't care if you die of hunger. So if somebody has to bring you food. So by bringing food to your loved one, you are the victim of being arrested on the spot while you're delivering food to your loved ones that you care for, because you don't want them to die. So the starvation weapon used in Tigray is also now being used throughout Addis Ababa, because they're rounding up civilians, putting them in jail, taking them outside the city, actually, because the city, I mean, it's an estimated like 1 million plus, like, Tagaru live in Addis Ababa. Imagine 1 million plus. So if you have 1 million plus Tagaru in Addis Ababa, and 25 to 30% of those are arrested, you're talking anywhere between 250 to 300,000.
Correction, Mike. That's Finfinne, and not Addis
Thank
Ababa.
you. That's true. Soon to be Finfinne, actually, to bring it back to the original name, because the same way they have changed various like church names and other historical places throughout the region, for them to say like history, Ethiopia has never been defeated, because of why? Because Tigray has carried Ethiopia like a baby on its back for generations past. And they claim that they are the fighters, they're the heroes. And yet when the TDF comes to them, they didn't even hold a fight in Kambolcha and Desse in various places. And now when TDF is consolidating its military, they're bragging how they're winning. Abiy Ahmed is bragging. In the diaspora, they're talking how, Amhara are now advocating in the US, and how they stop Tigray genocide from being classified as genocide.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that that we can go on, but coming back to the protest.
Can I say something?
Absolutely, please.
It's really important that it gets classified as a genocide. I'm a part of Tigray Action Committee. I'm the president and one of the founders of Tigray Action Committee. I founded it with my sister Hausen. And our biggest push, biggest mission initiative currently is that it be labeled a genocide. It's very, very important that it's labeled a genocide. We can't keep going through this. I said it 1,000 times, but the only way that we'll stop is if it's labeled a genocide. The longer this continues and it's not labeled as such, we will always be looked upon as Africans in the middle of a civil war. And this will keep happening to us until there is no more of us. And so this has to be labeled correctly. It has to be labeled officially, and it has to be labeled a genocide. So it's really, really important that Tagaru don't give up on that. They continue to use call it a genocide hashtag on Twitter. They continue to call their government officials. They continue to send letters and emails. You can go to our website at tigrayactioncommittee.com and you will see all of that available to you. It's important that you don't give up and you don't stop, because what they were able to do is that they called their government officials, they sent letters and emails, and that's why it was taken off. That's why, because they worked harder than us. And it's important that that does not happen anymore, because Tagaru are working hard right now in Tigray. We need to be working just as hard. We can't give up now. We can't be depressed now. We can't be sad now. We have to work harder now. Our people need us more now. It's 400 days. So it's not time to stop. It's time to go in. And so I just really, really hope that our community is listening and understands that it's time to go in.
And Danny, Mabel's got a great point here. Our people, I think earlier, if I'm not mistaken, she say we are actually small, but we are strong and powerful. And we have shown the world what we're capable of doing in the diaspora. Where I'm concerned about is we get complacent. Complacency is a problem for Tagaru. Number one, often what I hear is we have people that are educated, that they know what they're doing, therefore I don't need to do it. That is the worst thing that you can do as Tigrayans right now. Each and every one of us have a role to play. And we must fight just what Mabel is saying 24/7. I know it's not easy. I mean, literally, Danny, when we travel, you and I carry our work laptops with us. We have to juggle work in between the protests and advocacy that we worked on. And, not to mention that every other week I have to come back to town to be, with my kids. I co-parent my children myself. And, so same as, with Maba, what she's talking about. But so my point is, we Tigrayans could not be complacent right when TDF is fighting 24/7 and they're just almost at the finish line. I mean, we were just, at early November, this whole thing was going to be almost wrapped up. And then, Turkey, United Arab Emirates, Iran, deeply were involved in providing weapons of drones, of course, drones with weapons, whatever, right? So that slowed, the whole process down. There's no doubt that the drones are having impacts on the ground. But nonetheless, it is not like it was at the beginning where TDF has a small force. TDF's main weapons were in very limited area or in a smaller region. So it was easy for the drones to target that spot and destroy everything they had. Now, TDF is scattered throughout. It's a wide range. In order for you to really wipe out our entire weapon system and our military system, he literally would have to get several hundred to whatever drones into the country. Are they having impact? I think our biggest concern, actually, the impact is at civilians in Tigray, particularly targeting the biggest city in Tigray, Mekelle. Civilians are the target of these atrocities. So my point here is, Tagaru, what Mabel say, we cannot slow down. We cannot think about, we have activists, we have, this, we have that, therefore we're good. No, each and every one of us need to do what we need to do to continue on the fight. Just the same way, why we're working on these flyers, why we're working on these slogans, why we're reaching out to other communities. In about 35 minutes, I've got another show coming up. I've got, Fresgy, you guys know, from DC. Fresgy and I are going to Teddy Press on train. There you go. So, it's like, and I spend the whole day at work just like you guys. And so we can't make excuses to not fight for Tigray is my point.
So,
Daddy.
yeah, listen, absolutely what Marvel said. We need to get this to be called a genocide. By the way, Marvel, good job with that, France 24. I hope you get to see your dad soon.
Thank you.
Yeah. So listen, like she said, we are nonstop. We work in 24/7. So we have advocacy team, we have press, we have people that organize protests. We don't stop. We are mobilized. We're one, all together, all over. That's where. Then in TDF, we trust. That I'll leave it as that. I'm not worried for a bit and what they're doing there. Yeah, of course, Fascist Abiy is trying to buy as many drones as that he wants to kill civilians, to kill our people. TDF will not be stopped. Period. So, with that said, let me get back to really why we're here today, and again, our upcoming protest. Big shout out to Dr. Taka, SJT, and then our team, our young Tagaru team, organizing this. Mike, great job. Mabel, all of you. And then our younger sisters and brothers, and like Samhan, Abi, and all of them, Jamal, all of them are working so hard to get us going. So the call, my ask from all Tagaru, all over, this is a global protest. Take a day off. Make this a Tigray Day. This is day 400 since this genocide started. Take a day off. Come out, protest. If there is not a protest in your city, we'll be happy to list all the cities in the U.S., Canada, and then all over globally. Go to a city near you. You have 2 days to decide. So let's go out, be a voice for our voiceless people. Again, let's make this a Tigray Day. And then I know, Mike, you're calling it a Tigray Day. You're taking the time off from your family to be a voice for our voiceless people. And I call upon every single one of you, Tagaru, listening here. And I want you to share this. Let everybody know that we need to speak for our people. This drones need to stop. This mass arrest and concentration camps need to stop. This genocide needs to stop. There needs to be access to Tigray, humanitarian aid to Tigray. That's what we're calling for. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Mabel, I know we got to wrap these things up, but so New York most likely might be headed to DC, or have you guys decided if New York is going to come out on Thursday?
So with New York, we had very little time to plan it, and New York laws don't really allow us to do anything in short amount of time. You need a minimum of 3 weeks to get a permit, so it gets really complicated. So I think the majority of New Yorkers are going to be coming to DC, which is the closest city to them. As Danny was saying, find a city near you. And so a lot of us New Yorkers are going to be going to DC, but there will be a few that will be in front of the UN. And so if you're a New Yorker and you prefer to stay local, you're welcome to join the small team in front of the UN. The reason I'm emphasizing small is that legally we can't have that many people in front of the UN without a permit. And so if you are a resident of New York and maybe not a citizen yet, or maybe don't have a green card, or just, are not that comfortable, I would suggest going to DC. Take the train, take the bus, catch a ride, whatever you have to do. It's not that hard to get to DC. Most New Yorkers know that. But if you are somebody who is a citizen of the United States and is comfortable with being in front of the UN, you're welcome to join the team and be there too. But again, it's without a permit. And so that's why I'd say go to DC. And the DC team is doing an amazing, amazing job to make sure that the protest here is going to be amazing. I'm in the DMV right now, and so that's why I said here. But I'll be there on Thursday. It is Tigray Day for me. Every day is Tigray Day for me, but I'll be there and you'll see me. So come join me in DC and really, really show out and be loud and speak up for our families.
Mike, if I may say also, please, Tagaru, friends of Tagaru, come out. Let's encourage our Oromo brothers and all the oppressed. Tell them to come out, please. Share these flyers, and then just let's go out and have the biggest turnout that we've had so far. Thanks.
And I've seen a shout out by Yoni. I can't pronounce the communities very well, but they were pronouncing like the Republic of Kamant and Ago. I think I struggle how to pronounce Kamant, but I'm getting close.
You're good.
So the toughest question comes to, we're going to go back to Mabel. The real Mabel.
Doing it on purpose. Okay, go ahead.
It's okay if you don't want to do it, but ዓለም ሙሉእ ዘሎ ህዝብና በትግርኛ እንታይ ትብል እያ ትደሊ?
No, I'm not saying it in Tigrinya again. I'll say it in English.
No, you just say Gin Kwelki. Ayohum Naina. Even brother Jeff had to say something in Tigrinya, so there's no way. Malet ayifakadin በትግርኛ በቃ ሓደ ነገር ትብለለክን ህዝብና ማለት እዩ።
I already said Gin. That's enough. Dahan. Okay, so my people.
Dahan knoriyo mina.
But I love you guys. I'm so proud of my people. I'm so proud. And earlier you said you're happy to have me on this side, but I could not be anything else. This is, if I could ever choose my next lifetime, if I could be anything else, Tigray. I'd want to be from Tigray. I'd want to be a woman from Tigray. I am so proud.
Why does it feel that way though? It's all of us. Why does it feel that way? Why does it feel that way?
My gosh. Why am I happy to be a woman from Tigray? There's nothing better. First off, you see what
why does it feel that way to all of us? That we have to, it's just weird to explain it, but just the deep sense of like, just to feel like, I'm like, man, like I just show my fist, like my heart is just pumping. Like when I look at it, I always dream like, okay, if I just cut myself, would I bleed like, yellow and red, just representing Tigray?
You probably would. I'm so proud. There's something That's in us. Tigray is, there's no greater city than, I'm not even going to say it. I love Mekelle, but I'm from Hausen and I'm from Aviadi. So all of Tigray is perfect.
Yeah.
I love Tigray
course.
so much. There's no
Of course.
greater people, there's no greater nation, no greater land, earth, air, just everything about Tigray is perfect. And I'm just so proud, so happy to be from Tigray.
So, shukran, you know that.
I'm not Arabic, I'm Tigrawayti.
Oh no,
Well,
but
Tigray.
hey. So here is a tough question now to Danny.
Uh-oh.
And I have been saying I will not speak in Amharic. Danny is fluent in Amharic and Tigrinya. I know.
Oh, no.
Bear with us.
No.
Bear with us.
My ears are closed. I don't understand that
So,
language.
Danny,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
you can crack and laugh at me because my Amharic is so bad, but I'm going to ask you something in Amharic. I'm thinking.
Okay.
አንድ ዓመት ሙሉ ያደረከውን ቃል ስለ ትግራይ ህዝብና ለዳያስፖራ ያንግ ተጋሩ ምን ይሰማል?
Oh, wow. But
don't respond and don't
impressed. Right? Oh, am I supposed to respond? Okay. Not Amharic.
በአማርኛ
Listen, Mike, በጣም አመሰግናለሁ እና አንተም ለህዝብህ ከአመት በላይ ሳቅ እየታገልክ ነው ያለው። ሁላችንም ተጋሩ አብረን እየቆመን ያለ ነው እና አማርኛ ለምትናገሩ ተጋሩ በሙሉ out there መምጣት አለባችሁ እዚህ ሰልፍ ላይ አብረን መቆም አለብን። ድምጻችንን ማሰማት አለብን እያልን ያለ ነው። አዲስ አበባና በኢትዮጵያ በሙሉ ያሉ ተጋሮች እየታሰሩ ነው። እነሱ መፈታት አለባቸው። እነሱ እንዳይታሰሩ መጮህ አለብን። ድምጻችንን ማሰማት አለብን። ሌላ በድሮን አብይ አህመድ የሚያደርገው ይሄ ፋሽስት የሆነ መንግስት የሚያደርገውን ማስቆም አለብን። ድምጽ መሆን አለብን ለህዝባችን። ይሄን ድሮን የሚያመጣው ከቻይና፣ ከሳውዲ አረቢያ፣ ከዩኤኢ፣ ከኢራን፣ ከቻይና ነው። እነዚህን ሰዎች እንዲያቆሙ ኤክስፖርት ማድረግ አለብን፣ ማሳየት አለብን ለዓለም ሁሉ። እሱን ነው የምንለው ያለ ነው። እንደገና ደግሞ መንገድ እንዲከፈት ሰው በራብ የሞተ ነው ትግራይ ውስጥ። መድኃኒት የለም፣ ምግብ የለም፣ የባንክ አክሰስ የለም እንደምታውቁት እና እሱ ነው እየታገልን ያለ ነው። ማይክ አንተ የምታደርገው በጣም በጣም የሚያኮራ ነው። የትግራይ ህዝብ ይኮራብሃል፣ ማዕበላችንም ይኮራብሻል፣ ሁላችንም ተጋሩ ይኮራብናል። አመሰግናለሁ። How's that?
Perfect.
ገንዘብ ካል
ማዕበል ገብተሻል ያለው አይደለም። ሰሚዑ የኺ ዝበለ ግን ደስ ይብለክን ማለት ይደሓል። I know.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry actually.
እቲ ጽቡቕነቱ ግን ብትግርኛ ማዕበል ኮለምንታን ታሽም ሆይ ይመስለኪ እቲ ንምንታይ ይመስለኩም እቲ በአምሓርኛ ኣነ ከምዚ ዝገበርክዎ እቲ ናይ ቅማት ኮሚኒቲ እቲ ናይ ኣገው ኮሚኒቲ እቲ ትግርኛ ዘይኽእል ተጋሩ እውን መዓት እነይውን ኣብ ኣዲስ ኣበባ ተወሊዶም ወይ ድማ ኣብ ኣምሓራ ክልል ተወሊዶም ትግርኛ ዘይኽእሉ ግን ንትግራይ ዝቃለሱ ዘለው ንኣቶም ተስፋ ንኾኖም ንሕና ተጋሩ ኮይና ኣነ ንባዕለይ ያው ኣምሓርኛ ተምሃርክዎ ያው ናብ ኢትዮጵያ ምኻድ ምስ ጀመርኩ ሙዚቃ እናሰማዕኩ ገለለ እየ። ናተይ ኣምሓርኛ ብጣዕሚ ተሰብረ እዩ። ግን ብኣምሓርኛ ንእሽተይ ያው ደኒና ነቲ ዓለም ሙሉ ዘሎ ህዝብና መስሓቅ ኮለምንታ ክኾኑ ናተይ ኣምሓርኛ ደኒ በቃ
አማርኛ ጥሩ ነው ማይክ። ግን አንድ ነገር ልጨምር። በአማርኛ የቅማንት ወንድሞቻችን፣ የአገው ኮሚኒቲ ወንድሞቻችን፣ የኦሮሞ ወንድሞቻችን
እና
እህቶቻችን የቅማንት እህቶቻችን፣ የአገው እህቶቻችን በሙሉ ከኛ ጋር ቆማችሁ ይህንን የፋሽስት አብይ አህመድ መንግስት ከኛ ጋር ቆማችሁ እንድትናገሩና
መታገል ነው አይደል የሚባለው? መታገል ነው አይደል?
መታገል አለብን። ይሄ ሰውዬ ማስቆም አለብን። ለመንግስታችን ለዩናይትድ ስቴትስ ወይ ደግሞ ባላችሁበት ቦታ ወጥተን የመንግስቶቻችን መናገር አለብን ይህን ሰውዬ ለማስቆም እና ከኛ ጋር ተሰለፉ። ይሄ ጥሪ ለሁላችሁ ነው። ስራ ያላችሁ ለአንድ ቀን ስራችሁን አቁማችሁ ወጥታችሁ ከኛ ጋር እንድትቆሙ በዲሴምበር 9 ሁላችሁንም ዓለም በሙሉ ያላችሁን እየጠራን ነው። SJT የሴኩሪቲ and justice for ተጋሩ እና ያዘጋጀው ይሄንን in collaboration ከኦሮሞ ኮሚኒቲ ጋር ሰው እንድትመጡ እንጠይቃቸዋለን። በጣም እናመሰግናለን። እናሸንፋለን። ሁላችንም እየተጨቆንን
እና እኔ የምጨምረው ደግሞ ያው የአማራ ህዝብ የሚገባችሁ ከሆነ እኛ የትግራይ ተወላጆች ቋንቋ ያው እኛ የእናንተ ቋንቋ አማርኛ ብላችሁ ብትሉ እኛ እንሞክራለን። እኔ ራሴ አማርኛ ያው በደንብ አልችልም እንደ ዳኒ፣ ግን አትሊስት በሙዚቃ በሌላ የኢትዮጵያ ውድ ስለነበረኝ ድሮ ኢትዮጵያ ያን ሁላችን ከኖቨምበር 4 2020 በፊት ሁላችን ኢትዮጵያ ያልንን የምንኮራበት ሀገር ነበረች። አሁን ግን በፋሽስት አብይ አህመድ በእናንተ አንዳንዶቹ ደደቦቹን፣ ይቅርታ ደደብ ማለት በጣም ኃይለኛ ስድብ እንደሆነ ይገበኛል። ግን ቢሆንም እናንተ የምትሰሩት እናንተ የምታደርጉት በውሸት መኖር እግዚአብሔር ያላችሁ ወይም አስላም ከሆናችሁ አላህ እያላችሁ በእናንተ እግዚአብሔር ወይም አላህ ትጠየቃላችሁ። ሌላ ቀን ከህፃን ልጅ እስከ 80 የሚሆን እድሜያቸው አዲስ አበባ ውስጥ አሁን ከትግራይ ተወላጅ በመሆናቸው ብቻ እየታሰሩ ከቤታቸው ወጥተው አሁን የትግራይ ወታደር የተማረኩ እያላችሁ በውሸት ለኛ ወይም ለኢትዮጵያ ህዝብ በውሸት መጭበርበር፣ እናንተ ይህንን ነገር ማቆም አለባችሁ። ነገ በቲዲኤፍ ቢሆን በኦሮሞ ኃይልም ቢሆን በቅማት በአጎ አሁን 9 ክልል አንድ ላይ መጥተዋል። አንድ ላይ የመጣ ኃይል አሁን ሰላም የሚፈልግ በሰላም ጎረቤት ሀገር ሆነ መኖር ከፈለጋችሁ መኖር ትችላላችሁ። ካልፈለጋችሁ ደግሞ ኢትዮጵያ እያላችሁ ታዲያ የትግራይ ህዝብ ኢትዮጵያ አይደለም እንዴ? ትግራይ እኮ ሀገር አይደለችም። ትግራይ አሁንም ኢትዮጵያ ናት። ትግራይ ከኢትዮጵያ እንደ ኤርትራ እገነጣላለሁ ብላ አልጠየቀችም። እናንተ ግን ተበድራችሁ ከቱርኪ ከኢራን ከሌላ ሀገሮችን የራሳችሁን ህዝብ ጠላት እያላችሁ ጁንታ እያላችሁ ራሳችሁን ጁንታ ሆናችሁ ህዝባችን የምታሳልቁ ያላችሁ በህዝባችን ግፍ የምትሰሩ አቁሙት። ይሄንን ነገር አቁሙት። ሂዩማኒቲ ይሰማችሁ። የትግራይ ህፃን ሲገደል፣ የትግራይ ሴቶች ሲደፈሩ እናንተ ምንድነው እንታይ ዝበሃል ሻምፔን ናኸፈትኩ እዮም ታሽም ዝገብሩ ሰለብሬት ዝገብሩ። ኤኒዌይ ያኽለና ኣምሓርኛ እንታይ የለውን የተረደና ነዋ።
You did great, Mike.
What do you think, Mike?
You did awesome.
We speak Tigrinya.
Yeah. በጣም አንበሳ man.
Thank you. So ማበል መጀመርታ እዩ ባይዘው ኣምሓርኛ ኣብ ሚድያ ኣነ ስምዒት ስለ ዝነበረኒ ሒዝምን ንብዓተይ ሒዘ ተዛሪበ ብኣምሓርኛ ምክንያቱ ንእሽቱለይ ኢቨን 1% እንድሕረ ረዲእና እንድሕረ ምሂርና ነቲ ቃልሲ ዝኒሄ ሒዚ ካብቲ ህዝቢ ኢትዮጵያ ኩሉ ዝውዳእ ብጥይት ትናትና መንእሰይ እውን ካብ ዝጉዳእ ተራዲእና እቶም ሕጊ ዝጥሕሱ እቶም ግፍዒ ዝሰርሑ ብህዝቢ ትግራይ ነዚኦም ጠጠው ክነብሎም በቲ ንኽእሎ ቋንቋታት ኩሉ ክንሰርሐሉ ኣለና ክንጥቀመሉ ኣለና ኢለ እየ ስለ ስምዒተይ ዝገለፅኩ። ግን ኣይ ወሽ ኣምሓርኛ ናተይ ካብኡ ዝሐሸ ተዝኸውን ነይሩ። ያው ሆስት ምገበርኩ ነይረን ሓደ እቲ ድሌት ዘለዎም ማለት እዩ። እዚ ግን ያው ብደንቢ በቃ መልሓሰይ እናሰቐጥኩ እየ መኪረ ዘለኹ። I hope it made sense. እና ማዕበል since we left you out like a little bit በትግርኛ በዓረብኛ በእንግሊዝኛ በስፓኒሽ መልእክት ተሕልፍ እዮም።
It's too much. I need you to speak in Latin so I can understand.
There you go.
Just a little more.
Hey, Latin is it's a good language to have, but Spanish, maybe. Arabic, you forgot all of it. You were too little. Well, you know, Arabic is going to be one of the secondary language that we're going to adapt in Tigray.
You think so?
Oh yeah, because you know Sudan got right there. You know, like look, you know, back in the days, I know you were born in Sudan, but I came to Sudan as a kid. You know, who accepted me, who took care of me? It was Sudan. It's not perfect, but hey,
all of us.
80,000 people right now from Tigray.
All of
Shukran
us
Sudan, right?
That's right. Shukran Sudan.
Shukran.
Shukran lak. Shukran lak. Na ዓለም ሙሉእ ዘለኹም ናይ ትግራይ ህዝቢ ከምኡ እውን ንትግራይ ፈተውቲ ልቢ ዘለዎ ህዝቢ ንክተእምኑ እቲ ግፍዒ ናይ ሓቅነት ሒዝና ፅባሕ ንኮ ብቶም ጀጋኑ ኣሕዋትና ኣየታትና ኣብቲ ግንባር ዝቃለሱ ዘለው ከም እንወፆ ክንጠራጠር የብልናን ኣብዚ ዝሓለፈ ናይ 6-7 መዓልቲ ወይ ድማ ሓደ ሰሙን ገለ ንምንታይ እዩ ሰራዊት ትግራይ ካብቲ ዝነበሩ ቦታታት እናወፀ ዝኸድ ዘሎ ተሳዒርና ዲና ተሳዒርና አይና እናበለ እውን ብዙሕ ብሶሻል ሚድያ ክንሪኦ ተለና እውን ሞራል ተሰበረ ህዝብና እንሄና እዩ ዳያስፖራ እዚ ነገር እዚዩ ሓደ ነገር ኣነ ዝብለኩም እንታይ እዩ ሰራዊትና መንግስትና ዋላ ብግልጽ ገይሩ እዚ ስለ ዝኾነ እዩ ከምዚ ንገብረልና እንተዘይበለ ዕላማ እንሄዎ እዩ ከስታውሰኩም ዝደሊ እንታይ እዩ ቅድሚ መቐለ እንታይ ቦታ አይና ሒዝና ነርና ንሕና ተጋሩ ህዝብና እንታይ እዩ የጋጥሞ ነይሩ بتوم مانكا سرقو بتوم مليخ سرقو بتوم ناي بلاستيك ومبر بكلتغرشة وقدوي لفز عاد الشيط تيك أري مسرقو نسوم الناس سرقو تم ناتناقن سروحهم يمسرحو نيرا مش تاوشتي هزوا منا نكحو هزوا منا ناك آلسو افتماج أروشن تاي كوينم نا ارتر حايلي تحاسيو جنرالات ببزموت الإيوان تاي يميلم كورونا فيروس هزوا ميتم يميلم كورونا فيروس تግራይ ተፈጢሩ ንኤርትራውያን ጀነራላት ራይ ዝቀትል ማለት እዩ ስለዚህ ሕሶት አብይ አሕመድ ካበይ ተማሂርዎ እንታይ ኢልና ካብ አብኡ ካብ ኢሳያስ አፈወርቂ ማለት ካንታ እዩ ዛረገ ኸልቢ ኣብ ኣጋሞቱ እግር ዝረኸቦ እግር ዝነክስ እዩ ማዕበል go ahead it's you we're going to close it, you know, we're going to close it up, but hey, if you
I don't know how you follow that up. I don't know how you follow that up. Wow. Okay. I really don't know what to say. It was a pleasure being on with you. Everybody loves your show. I really want to say thank you to both of you. You guys have done so much for our community. You have been there for every protest. You guys have been so supportive. Danny was one of the first people to join our 5K for Tigray Action Committee. I'll never forget that, Danny. You're one of the very, very, very first, and I'm so grateful to you.
Good job, Danny.
I'm so happy to have this community, these brothers with me, and just everybody here in the diaspora really loving and taking care of each other. And I'm really grateful for you guys both, and I'm grateful for everybody back home. I know we're going to be free.
That's so sweet. I would say this. One day soon, we're all Tagaru who's been fighting from day one will all one day head to Mekelle. I say Mekelle, not Mekelle. Mekelle, the proper pronunciation. We all will hug and literally have a day where we can just all like just dance and celebrate and have some beer and just sit down and say, thank God to my TDF, to our TDF.
It's your turn to buy though. Danny can't keep spending his money. Like, stop.
Got it.
Oh, I love you.
Stop taking his card and his ID. It's your turn.
I'm on it.
No.
Got it.
To add to that, Mike, maybe Magala or here, we're going to do a 5K or maybe a half marathon or a full marathon. Actually, a lot of us have agreed to do that. So hopefully soon, come out to this protest, everyone. Tigray Tsa'ir.
Tigray Tsa'ir. Yeah, Tigray Nasa'aratia. Ma'abed, you want to, anything else you want to throw out there? We're good? We got it covered.
I don't know what to say.
So I want to say thank you to both of you. Seriously. So especially Mabel, I know you have to juggle a lot of things, and I know you have young kids. So an hour of your time is a lot, and Please say thank you to those kids who are
It's
just
my
holding
pleasure.
their ground.
They're screaming at me, but it is my
They do.
pleasure.
They're doing
Anything for
good.
Tigray, anything for you guys, whatever Tigray needs of me, I'm here to give. So I'm here.
Of course. Of course. And Danny, of course, thank you. I know that we're going to talk, but I know just your energy, making sure that the other communities from Eritrea, from Gamat and Agov are on board. And even if it means total across the United States, we're going to get a few hundred of them. That is a few hundred more people that we're going to have them love and show, participate with us, show us the respect and the love, and to have one voice for our people who are, I don't know if I want to say voiceless. Our people are not voiceless, but their voice has been trumped by dictators, and we're going to speak, until their voice could be heard from the outside world, because their voice has been, not heard because they're surrendered 360-degree by Eritrean mercenaries and by militia Amhara Fana and the federal troops of Ethiopia. With that, I want to say thank you so much, my sister, my brother. I really appreciate you guys. And of course, we'll have a big Zoom on Cyber also, part of the celebration that we'll do when Tigray is 100% free.
It can't be recorded because we're going to be crazy. So.
Oh, good. We're allowed to be crazy.
I like that. That's a good closing. Yes.
All right, guys. We're ending our broadcasting here. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone.
Tonight's here. Let's go.
Tigray good meat.
All right. Yep.